welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Tuesday. I'm joined as ever by LB. We have David Talks Football with us, but we have to start off on a sad note. And we don't know why this has happened. We don't know how this has happened. But after only the first defeat of the season since Positive Dan has been a panel member on the show, miraculously, sadly, he cannot be here with us today. It's a shocker. It's disappointing, but we send you all our love and support and hope you're very well, Positive Dan. It's crazy. First loss since you've been on the show, and he ain't here. What? Yeah. He's your mate, Davey. What's going on?
Well, you know, he said a lot, hasn't he? Bless him. But hopefully he'll come here to defend himself. But it was invincible, and then it'll be invincible after this game. Maybe it'll be invincible after this game. Who knows, you know? But yeah, it's tough for him. It's tough for him. I feel for him. He's acknowledged that the blue shark, as they say, is coming for them.
Yes, so and I get it. LB, how are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, been a good weekend for us again. So yeah, feeling pretty decent, mate. And then I woke up this morning and Real Madrid got no players. So yeah, I think things are going our way at the moment, man. I'm taking it all day long, bro. But yeah, I'm decent, man.
No, they are. I mean, I watched City at the weekend, and it felt. I know you've had some defensive issues, but the weekend felt like a real City performance. Yeah. I think Phil Foden looks back to his very best, and I'm actually really glad for him. I feel he's had a lot of stick in the last year from people that he didn't deserve. He just had a rough period when City had a rough period, and then I was watching Turkey at the weekend. Man's a little genius, LB. He's a little genius.
I'm so glad we didn't get Verts, bro. I just gotta say it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I was getting cooked in that when we didn't get Verts and fair dues. But we got Turkey for 25, 30 million, whatever it was. And the guy is just an unbelievable player, man. What a player. I mean, the assist. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the chance he created for Haaland. Arguably a better chance creation than the Rabona. He took just dribbled past like 3 players or whatever, and then Haaland probably should have scored if we're being honest with you. He set one out the back for Reinders at the back post. He missed. He should have had 3 assists really, but yeah, just a brilliant player to watch, man. You know what I'm saying? And when everyone's talking about how boring is a little bit dull these days, Turkey just lights up the pitch, mate, whenever he gets on the ball. And I actually think that he's going to be fantastic under Pep Guardiola. You know, there's been a lot of talk when we signed him about, will Pep let him play? I actually think Pep's going to really, really like him. He's got the flair, but he's also like pretty like clever with it. You know what I mean? He doesn't do it in that stupid positions and that. I mean, when we was crumbling against Fulham and he put Cherky on, Cherky was the best player on the pitch for us. He was the only player that could keep the ball. So he has that. He's not just a player that just does flair for the sake of it. He's a player that does flair, but he knows when to do it. And of course, like he'll probably still make mistakes in that, but you're still young. So what a player, man. And yeah, like I said, I'm feeling pretty good about City at the moment. So yes, it's a good place to be, man. Can't lie.
Yeah, I love what Cherky did. I mean, he's Rabona. He almost gave me but you know what I mean? It was very, very good. It was one of them ones. I like him, but as you said, LB, what I love about Cherky is that he's sensible. He knows. When I was a kid, you know, I remember my coaches, whether it be at school, Sunday league, whatever it may be, don't play football in your own half. Don't take unnecessary risks. Don't try and do a fancy skill to beat someone at the edge of your own box if the simple pass is on. You know, if that's the only thing you can do to get out of trouble, then fair enough. But he does it perfectly, and what he does in the attack is crazy. And I think when you actually look at his actual output as well, it's better than most attack-minded players in the league in terms of assists that he has, goals that he has, contributions. He's been effective. It's just been the injuries so far that have let him down a little bit. But I think he looks potent. Ian here says, wait till a few weeks have passed and it will be back to the blue haddock finding Nemo.
Yeah, I knew that was going to line up for someone to come back with something like that for sure.
How are you feeling about the title race now? Are you starting to feel confident that you will catch Arsenal and overtake them? Are you feeling like that's really
I'm feeling good. Like I don't think any City fan really is going to feel as confident as like 2, 3, 4 years ago, right? Because like, I know this is not the same Manchester City team. I know we've not got the same players as we had 3 years ago when it was almost a given that we'd hunt down any team at the top of the table, even if you're 8 points, 9 points clear. Every City fan would still be saying, "We can still do it. We can still do it." Whereas this team, obviously, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, but it's obviously not as good as it was 3 years ago, and that's fine. Like when you lose players like De Bruyne in the prime and Gundogan in the prime, and all these fucking John Stones in the prime, Walker in the prime. There's nothing bad about saying that. Yeah, it's just being honest. But the thing for me is, I think we've been pretty average this season, and we're 2 points off Arsenal. And all I've heard about Arsenal all season is how good they are. So I think Arsenal have been good, and I think they've deserved that praise. If I'm being honest with you, I think Arsenal have been a really good team. But every time I speak to people about City, it's your defense is crap, or Haaland's the only person scoring your goals, or your midfield is still shaky, or Pep's still making dodgy decisions, or you've got Savinho and Bob are crap, they don't score goals, or Mamouche ain't playing, and like we're 2 points off. We're in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. We should finish top 8 in the Champions League, barring disaster. So I feel like we're in a really, really good position. So I just think we're in a nice place. Yeah, the first sort of month or two of the season, there wasn't really that many people talking about City. Everyone was talking about Liverpool and Arsenal, and then people are now starting to sort of like look at City and go, "Hang on a minute, like, what's going on here?" So, and now as well, other players are starting to chip in with goals, which is big. You know what I'm saying? That was important. You can't just rely on Haaland. And I know we were winning our games, so it was fine. But at some point, you needed other players. And now Foden's got 5 goals in 3 Premier League games. And I think Churchill starts to find the back of the net. Tijani Randers is getting so close. So yeah, and I feel like, listen, I'm going to sit here and be like, yeah, 100% we're winning it, because Arsenal are a good football team. Yeah, Arsenal are a good football team, but we haven't played anyone decent away from home yet. We played Arsenal away from home, so they shit.
Yeah,
Arsenal not a good team.
And played Newcastle and Aston Villa, and
we played Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Arsenal, so they're not good teams. No, we played literally the first place team and third place team away from home, but apparently they're not good. But I feel good, man. I feel like we can win this league. I see a team that can win it, but Arsenal are also good. So I do think it's only between City and Arsenal, though. I don't think there's anyone else involved.
No, I agree with that right now in terms of who I think can actually win it. What are you saying, David? You're someone that's obviously pushed back against Arsenal being favourites for a while. Are you looking at it now that it's down to 2 points? We spoke about this on quite a few shows this week. Do you think this is the crumble, and this is when City will take over and lead from here?
I mean, I've got to remain consistent. Same way I said it's early days to say Arsenal are going to be the champs. It's also early days with this City being in the title race, kind of closing this gap, right? So anything can still happen. But LB just kind of said what I touched base on yesterday. No one's been talking about City. Everyone's been kind of saying this is not the City of old. And still they're only 2 points behind, and you kind of scratch your head. And like I said this yesterday, that is what's scary to me. A team that's not been on top form, a team that's trying to find their feet, a team, yes, they spend a lot of money, but you'd have to say that it's in some sort of transition to find their new team. And man, they're only 2 points behind. It's unbelievable. You gave some advice yesterday. I think it was on this show, Straight Facts, to the Arsenal fans, Terry. You said, just stay calm, just support your team. And, that will help the team in the long run. Don't tweet this, don't tweet that. That's what you said. That's kind of exactly what Man City fans have done throughout this season so far. And look where they're at now. They're not top. We can't celebrate their second place at the same time. We have to have some sort of standards, right? But if there's anyone that I'd put my money on, with recent history, to catch Arsenal when Arsenal have bottled it, I know that's a triggering word for some, it's Man City. It's Man City. And if they go ahead and beat Crystal Palace this weekend, Man United just did that, right? So it's very possible. I think they're right in it. And who knows? Arsenal could give Wolves their first win this weekend. And maybe that's just me being a bit of a Arsenal hater. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, I think we do. I think we definitely know that. That's
Yeah,
not
we know
Yeah.
that one.
he should actually use that opportunity as just to rest the players, because they are horrific, man. I watched the game last night. They are so poor.
If he rested
Well-
them though, and by chance they got a draw, he would have. I mean, the Arteta.
Yeah, no, but
outers or
at the
whatever-
same time,
Oh,
at the same time, like, you have to rest players, and if you can't rest players
Yeah.
at home to Wolves, then what we're doing here. But I don't know if Terry wants to like merge the whole Arsenal section into the City section, because I did want to speak about Arsenal and that. But depends what you're doing.
We'll come back to that in a second, because I want to speak about another blue team. I want to speak about another blue team for a moment, because at close of business last night.
Birmingham,
Yeah.
Brighton, they're blue, aren't
They're blue, bit of blue for the lads. Chelsea's title race seems to have imploded, LB.
Mm.
Hey, where are all these Chelsea fans in the chat today, man? Hey, Blaze, come outside. Yeah, I remember this guy 2 weeks ago sending all the super chats in because he was gassed that they drew against Arsenal, and now they've 3 games without a win. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. What is going on, boys? What is going on? Listen, if only someone said it at the start of the season that you guys was never in a title race to begin with, then, you know, this wouldn't be a bad situation. But yeah, just horrific stuff from the boys in blue at Chelsea. Nowhere near good enough for the title. As I said, from day one of the Premier League, I still maintain my position, which I've said all season, that they'll finish with outside 15 points over whoever wins the title. I don't see it. I think they're currently on 9, so we're over halfway there. But yeah, like I said, they've just not got the squad for it. They've not got the players. They've not got the squad. And they might not have the manager. I actually think Maresca's done a pretty good job, and I actually think he gets quite too much stick off Chelsea fans. Yeah, but you know, is he ready for a title race right now? You know, he's still pretty inexperienced manager, probably not. So, yeah, absolutely zero surprise to me. I knew it was a red flag when I started hearing Chelsea fans talk about resting players at Elland Road on a night match. I knew they was in serious trouble, because anyone that's watched football for any length of time knows that you do not rest players at Elland Road. Yeah, even if it's a 12:30 kickoff, but certainly not on a night match. That is just stupid. And they got exactly what they deserved. They got absolutely cooked off Leeds. And then they got to Bournemouth, need to bounce back and don't do nothing there. So, yeah, it's dead in the water for them now. I think top 4. I still think they'll get top 4, as I've said all season. I think they'll get top 4. But they were never in a title race to begin with. And that's been proven. And we're in December.
Second best squad in the league, second best attack depth in the league, best midfield in the world, you know, best fullbacks in the league. Goalkeeper as good as Donnarumma.
Well, there are some true. I think, and again, I always have to give them praise on something, because Chelsea fans just think I hate them on everything, which is not true if they actually listen to what I say. I do think their fullbacks are the best in the league if you pair them. Yeah, Reece James and Cucurella, I think that is the best. I think Caicedo is a phenomenal player, and I think Cole Palmer is a phenomenal player. My problem is, outside of those players, I think there's a lot of mid. Yeah. I think there's a lot of mid in that Chelsea side. Yeah, you look at the goalkeeper. He's had a good season. Not good enough for Chelsea, even though he's had a good season. Yeah, people could talk about how good Fofana is and that. Yeah, when he stays fit and plays consistent games for a full season, then I'll start to talk about it. Until then, not doing it. Tosin, Chalobah, yeah, these guys are probably not even good enough to get you top 4, if I'm being honest with you. Enzo Fernandez is mad inconsistent. I've seen him drop some phenomenal performances this season, and I've seen him be bang average. Yeah, and then the front 3, I'm sorry, is just horrific. And I'm not having it, mate. Yeah. Garnacho, Gittins, Delap, and even Neto, yeah, are not good enough to win you a title as a 3. I like Estêvão, but he's a young player, so he's gonna be inconsistent. Yeah, and again, relax with the Yamal thing, please. Yeah, relax with that. When he starts performing on a consistent basis, game in, game out, yeah, and starts getting the numbers, then we'll do it. And I'm an Estêvão fan, but again, gas him up too much. So, yeah, that's just where they are. I would be surprised if they didn't get top 5, because they do have ballers like Palmer, and he'll just win them games on his own. But he ain't going to win you a league, and he ain't going to get you in a title race.
He's missing the next game as well, I read. I think they're going to rest him midweek. That's what they said. Palmer's missed a lot of games, hasn't he? He's missed a lot of games.
Yeah, well, he had a bad groin injury, didn't he, unfortunately for them, because he is a baller, man.
Yeah, I mean, he is, but if he's not available, he's not available. That you kind of forget about these people. They're not an option. They're not an option. Where do you think it is with Chelsea? I mean, Don, we're gonna reference him because he's the one fighting their corner. He says it's centre backs. He says it's centre backs. It's centre backs. If they had a better centre back pairing, I mean, answer this: if they had Romero and Van der Ven from Tottenham, yeah, where would Chelsea be? Do you think they'd improve? Do you think they'd be in a title race?
No, I still don't think they'd be in a title race because I think they need more than that. I think they need a new goalkeeper. Yeah, they need probably 2 centre backs, and they need a left winger who's good, a striker who's good. And if you do that, I'd probably just run Estêvão on the right and just accept some of the inconsistencies with his young age because I do think he's a very talented player. But I don't think I don't. If you stuck Van der Ven and Romero into that team, I still don't think they'd be in a title race. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way. I mean, they had but I know Levi Colwell was out injured, but injuries happen. But they had Fofana available for 2 of the last 3 games. Like, I know they all blamed Tosin. Like, not they all. That's an exaggeration. A lot of Chelsea fans just blamed Tosin for that loss against Leeds. Multiple players were bad, but Tosin didn't kick a ball against Bournemouth, and they didn't do anything. They had a few shots on target early in the second half, but they didn't do anything. And if it hadn't been for Rob Sanchez in that game, they would have lost to a Bournemouth side who themselves are limping at the moment. I don't think they've won a game in 6. So I think with Chelsea, some of it is age as well. And I keep going, they hate this word, but it's experience. 2 years running, they've been in a good position in the league. Last year, 1 win off going top. This year, 1 win away from going 3 points behind the top. Title race talk begins. Both times, there's been a bad run of form straight after that. 2, 3, 4 games without winning. We're on 3 this season. That, for me, I don't think that's because Maresca's a bad coach. I don't think it's because they've got a terrible squad. I like their squad. I think what they're building will work in the end. But I go back to what I said in the summer. They need experience. And what I mean when I say experience isn't someone who's just 27 but average. It's players that are of world-class level or potential still or fit just below that bracket who are also experienced in title races, Champions League runs. If they'd have added an Osimhen to their team in the summer, if they would have got someone like a Van der Ven, if they'd have got themselves a Donnarumma, and if they had a left winger, say for instance, like Luis Diaz, they're the levels I'm talking. You had that kind of experience and age and quality into your team. There is no doubt in my mind they wouldn't have anywhere between 6 to 9 more points this season. 6 to 9
crazy?
What's
crazy? United are level on points with them. I mean, how's that?
And scored more goals. And scored more goals.
How has that happened? I don't know if the league's on maybe because I just can't accept that Man United potentially are progressing in a very funny way. We won't go too far into that, but maybe in a very funny way they're progressing. But how have we gone from speaking about Chelsea in a title race, pushing Arsenal, to Man United are level on points with them and have scored more goals? I mean, it's incredible.
But some people were never speaking about Chelsea in a title race.
Fair enough.
For me, that's not what you just spoke about. Then is not surprising to me in the slightest because I was never talking about Chelsea in a title race. Yeah, and it's like whenever Chelsea won a game, people was going, "Oh, LB, what you saying now? What you saying now?" And I was like, people act like I say Chelsea are terrible. I think Chelsea are a very good team. I think they've got some very good players, and as I've said, I think they'll get top 4. And they were incredible against Arsenal. But anyone can be incredible on a one-off game. Yeah, Wigan beat Manchester City in a FA Cup final. Yeah, don't mean that they're going to compete. And
as a championship team knocks you out in the Centurion.
Yeah, anyone can win a one-off match. Doesn't mean they can be in a title race. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I just think Chelsea fans, man, like, and again, not all of them here, because I'm not speaking about every Chelsea fan here, but I just think some Chelsea fans, I just think you need to reflect properly on the players in that you signed in the summer and be honest and be like, maybe did we gas these players up? Have we gassed some of these players that we've signed up too much? Because you know what happens when you sign a player, you get excited, don't you? Most people, we signed this player, 50 mil, 60 mil, buzzing. But if you've signed a load of mid, you've got to sign needle movers, man. Yeah, you got to sign, and they didn't sign needle movers, mate. Like you said, then, bro. Why didn't they go for Luis Diaz, man? They signed Garnacho for 50 mil. How much did Bayern get Diaz for? Like 60. Why didn't you go for him? Yeah, why did you not go for a better striker than Liam Delap? Yeah, well, it's just why'd you sign Garnacho and Gittins? That's £100 million on two players that are not needle movers on that left-hand side. Why didn't you sign a centre half? Why did you go into the season again with Robert Sanchez, even though he's been good this year? Doesn't change the fact that you should have got a new goalkeeper. They spent over €300 million this summer. You know how mad that is?
In fairness to Chelsea fans, though, they're used to quick turnarounds in projects. You know what I mean? New manager, new project. What's it going to do for us? Are we going to win the league? Are we, what's it going to?
Yeah, but are you talking about the Roman era, though?
Yeah, but they are still used to that. I know it's not the same, but they've still kind of spent and got a lot of players and gone through managers, right? How many managers have they gone through since Todd Bowley took over? Is it 3? Is this the third manager?
Well, they've Tuchel, Potter, Poch, and now they've sacked 3 and hired 4. Well, hired 3 and sacked 3. Yeah.
When you say Roman era, that's pretty similar to what Roman used to do. If it's not working, we move on.
But wait a sec. Yeah, one, it's not the same because whilst yes, he was ruthless, he'd bring in winners.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
He would bring in winners as manager. Yeah, this guy, they're not doing that. They're bringing in young, up and coming managers. Yeah, who I'm a rescue who's still pretty inexperienced, and the same with the players. Yeah, Roman would go out there and drop cash on a Drogba, or go drop cash on a Shevchenko, or go
even
drop
managers.
Cash on a...
I thought you were talking about managers. Even managers. I'm
talking
Scolari,
about.
Go get.
Yeah, no, exactly. But these guys, these guys obviously come into the football club. They've decided to go down this youth project thing, which is fine. Yeah, but at some point you have to change strategy. Yeah, you can't just stick with the same transfer approach every single season. At some point, you have to adjust. And I thought this summer, they just had a good year, Chelsea. Yeah, they got top 5. They won the Conference League and they won the Club World Cup. That's pretty good for this guy's first season, in my opinion. Yeah. What they should have done after that Club World Cup is gone, right, you know what? We're ready now to take the next step. We've got the young players in. Let's go and get some proven winners, in this team. Centre back. Let's go and get a big dog centre back. Yeah, let's go and get a Luis Diaz up top. Let's go and get a top class goalkeeper, and we're ready to go. And what did they do? They stuck with the same approach. They went and bought more young players. Didn't sign any needle movers, and as a result, this season they'll stagnate, and that's what's going to happen. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think it went wrong in the summer? That's literally
it went wrong in the summer, bro. You need to sign needle movers. Like, it's not hard. Like, bro, transfer windows are very simple. Buy better players than you have, and you need to buy players who can move the needle. That's literally, it's not rocket science. And what did they do? They didn't do that. They went and bought Garnacho, Gittins, fucking Delap, João Pedro. Are these players going to win you a title? No.
It's not easy to find needle movers, though, is it? It's not that easy.
What are you saying?
Do you think it's that easy to find needle movers?
Like, you've taken a needle mover. Osimhen would have been a needle mover.
That's true. I agree with that.
Would have been a needle mover.
Yeah, good point. But you've taken a gamble, for example, on Cherky, who looked good. I mean, he played in that Lyon game against United.
Yeah, but wait a sec,
that is someone who's not a needle mover yet, is he?
No, but wait a sec. Yeah, we're not Chelsea. We're not in the same position as Chelsea. Yeah, we've got Haaland up top. Yeah, we've still got Rodri. We've got fucking Diaz, Gavardio. We've got Donnarumma in. We're not in the same position as Chelsea.
Right.
Our needs are not the same as Chelsea's needs. We're not in the same position. Yeah, they are in the position where they needed to go big and sign proven players. Do you get me?
I see what you're saying. I get you. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
not every club is in the same position of like, we need the same things. And
so you don't feel that you're in that place where you need to sign needle movers. You can go down that route of trying to find the next big thing, but Chelsea can't because they're not. They need to break into that top 2. Go in the title race. That's what you're saying.
What we needed in the summer, what City needed in the summer, was a wholesale change of players, which we did because we got like 7 players in. And I feel like we achieved that. I think we needed probably one more, but we pretty much achieved that, yeah. And we got like a load of players at like that sort of 40 million pound sort of range. Next summer, you're in a different position. Next summer, it's not about getting 5-6 players in. Next summer, for us, we need 3 players. Yeah, I need a top class right back. I need a top class right winger. I need a top class 8. That's it. So I mean, every summer. Yeah, you don't approach every transfer window the same in terms of how you approach it, yeah, because your needs are different.
Totally, I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I would argue that Liverpool signed a lot of needle movers, and blimey, it moved the needle, that's for sure. But I don't know.
wait a
I don't
sec,
know
wait a
which direction.
Yeah, but wait a sec. I also said in the summer that they shouldn't sign Isak.
Got you. No, I'm just asking. You know.
Yeah. No, in the summer. So again, you know, their needs in the summer was to sign, you know, new players. They needed a new left back, new right back. Yeah, they needed a striker. But I said in the summer, don't sign Isak. Once they sign Ekatika, I said Ekatika will be a good player for them. Don't sign Isak. Go and get yourself a centre half, which they should have done. And I think every Liverpool fan will probably agree with that. And I said, go and get a 6, because I don't think Gravenberch is a long-term 6 option for them. And they didn't. They went and got Isak. Cool, that's their decision. But I don't think that's working out. I think Ekatika is a better player. So, again, like, you know, teams, listen, I'm not trying to say it's easy necessarily, because it's
that's
not
the point.
easy.
That's only the point I'm making. I fully agree with what you're saying, LB. I'm not against what you're saying. I'm just making the call that it's not as easy as go and get needle movers. I don't think. If it was that
I think
easy,
for Chelsea it was, though. Chelsea it was. Luis Diaz was a bit a better option. Rafael would have been a better option. Osimhen was there. They tell me they don't want to pay his wages, but then they'll go and spend 100 million on Garnacho and Gittins and still pay him big dough. Yeah? Goalkeeper. How many goalkeepers are out there? You tell me no better goalkeepers they could have got. Centre halves. Mark Guay was right there. Yeah, there's loads of centre halves about in Europe right now. But they didn't go and get anyone, man. They just left it. Yeah, and gone, oh, don't worry, we've got Fofana, a guy who's never played 5 matches in a row.
And I think with Liverpool, just because it hasn't worked, Liverpool's situation isn't that they've signed bad players. They signed players, they've changed system, and I think a few players' legs have gone. You add all those things together, they've got their problems. I don't think suddenly Isak's a bad footballer. I don't think Wirtz is suddenly a bad footballer. I don't think Kirkes has just become a bad left back over the course of the summer. I think it's a combination of things that have gone on there. Patrick here says owners only want to do enough to get Champions League football. It's all about that revenue. Few clubs are spending to challenge for titles. Getting experience generates expectation, and owners want to temper that.
Challenge that though. What's his called? Pally, yeah. But my point on that, is that would be cool if Chelsea had only spent 500 million, but they spent 2 billion quid. So make it make sense, because I kind of agree with the general point. But why have they spent 2 bill? Why would you do that? Surely, if you're going to spend 2 billion quid, surely you'd be like, yo, we need to be serious about this title.
I mean, where are they in comparison to everyone else's spend? Are they far ahead, or are they very similar?
Since the new guys have come in, they're clear, bro.
Clear. By how much, Terry? Do you know?
Oh, it's got to be.
I'm sure you had a graphic, didn't you, Terry? About I'm sure you had a graphic for it.
Yeah, let's have a little look. We had it before.
Find it, bro. Transfer overview.
I mean, if it's over 50%, then yeah, the question marks have to be there for sure. But if it's similar, it proves the point, LB, that finding needle movers and spending money is not as easy. It's not easy, right, to build teams. I mean, look at Man United. We've done nothing but mistake after mistake after mistake.
Because they've not got football people there, though, bro. This is the thing. Like, the thing is, like, it is easier if you've got football people and you know about footballing. You know about football, you know about how tactics work, and you just know the style. I'm not saying you have to be like some fucking Pep Guardiola guy, but like if you have a basic understanding, about football and what you need, then it is easier because you know what to target. If you're just fucking playing darts and just going bang, 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 just get anyone.
James Maddison.
Bro, it's a madness. I just don't think. I think, like your club has not done. Your club's not spent money right. Chelsea haven't spent money right.
So since Clear Lake took over in May 2022, Chelsea have spent 1.72 billion. Context: United, the second highest spenders in that time, on 950 million. Man City then come in third at 864 million. Then it's Tottenham that come in at 847. Then it's Liverpool on 837. And this is why I think Arsenal fans always kick back. Arsenal in that time, it's 820 million. So
this is not just straight outgoings, though, isn't it? This is also with, they sell players. Is this just straight money spent?
That's what they've spent. Net spend isn't real, so I don't do it because clubs don't use net spend per se. Again, if you want, in terms of if you like net spend, if you're someone that wants to use net spend as an example in that time, because his website shows it. Let's go. Chelsea is still top of that table, followed by Manchester United, followed by Tottenham, followed by Arsenal, followed by.
And what is the gap?
Liverpool.
Is it quite a big gap still?
Yeah, I mean, they're
So
still.
they've sold a lot of players, haven't they? Chelsea?
Yeah, they're
They
still
have.
200 odd million still ahead of everybody else. Yeah, give or take. So, but that's part of the model. Like what you got to remember with net spend, rightly or wrongly, a lot of clubs, Man United are one of them, Arsenal are another. It isn't part of the business model to buy players to sell them. Where a lot of the other clubs, because they had much smaller global fan bases, they built part of their process was to bring in players and to City do this quite well. Part of the reason they have such a good academy is to sell the players for money. They know they're not going to be putting all these players into their team. Chelsea used to do the loan thing. Do you remember Chelsea had like 1,000 players out on loan?
Oh my God, yeah, incredible.
That was a way of generating money. They had to change that because the rules in football changed. So I wish Man United did more of it, by the way. I wish we did. But if you noticed, whenever one of our young players gets to spoke about being sold, our fans go mad. It's just different cultures. But they've spent £1.2 billion on players for their squad. 1.7. United are next in that list. They're on 950. The fact we're second on that list makes me feel sick. We're a bigger joke than anybody.
Than anyone, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, Chelsea fans, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel. I mean, look, I still don't think they're going to fall off massively. I still think there's a lot of ups and downs to go this season, but they can't be going 3 or 4 matches without wins. Not if you are as good as you say you are. It's just too long, man. Elijah here says that if people still want to call me negative, then that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm a fucking realistic fan. Yeah, Elijah's had a lot of stick for calling out Chelsea on our live streams, but
who does he support?
Is he a Chelsea fan?
Chelsea fan, yeah.
What's he saying?
He's just sort of basically thinks people that have views like Don's, that they're that close to Arsenal's and better than City's, he goes, they're fucking delusional, is what he's basically said.
This guy knows football. Subscribe to this guy.
Chelsea's transfer policy is for young talent so they can sell them on. It's a safety net. They don't work out. You can still somewhat profit from them. It's harder to sell a 27-year-old. Now, I do agree. So that's what muddies the waters with their spending is. I would say a good 500 million of what they've spent plus has been spent on players that are to be flipped for profit in future. That's absolutely fine. But if the team doesn't start turning soon, we're going into 2026, that's 4 years. If we start going into 26, 27, 28, and they're not challenging for the league title, you have to look at the business model and go, hang on, you've still spent, by then it will be 1.1, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 billion. When do you start challenging with that kind of money being spent? You've got to start getting it right.
When was their last league title? 2017? 2017, was it?
2016.
Is that right? Their last league title. So it's coming up to 10 years. I think it's 2017. Yeah. So it's coming up. I mean, it's coming up to 9 years.
You can't just not sign anybody who's over the age of 26, 25 or whatever, innit? You can't just do that. You can't be like, oh, well, we're not going to sign anybody over the age of 25 because if they don't work out, we can't sell them on. Like, you have to take a gamble. You have to take a risk on a proven player, because the difference is with a proven player is they are proven. You know what I mean? If it works, they're going to hit the ground running from day one and just cook. When you get the young players, they're inconsistent because they're young. So people are expecting Estêvão, and again, I like Estêvão, but you expect Estêvão to be putting in 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10s, week in, week out, week in, week out. It ain't going to happen because he's young, and that applies to all the young players, bro.
I've said it with Estêvão. I mean, he either goes through that Cristiano Ronaldo phase. Remember when Ronaldo came, did a whole bunch of step overs, looked great, but just didn't have that edge to be able to perform in the Premier League. But then he found a way, got stronger, stayed behind after training. You know the stories. I don't need to paint the picture on Cristiano Ronaldo. If Estêvão takes a leaf out of that book, I think he can be a very successful player in the Premier League. If he just thinks his talent, which he's got it in abundance, but if he just thinks his talent's going to get him over the line in the Premier League, mate, it ain't going to happen. And I said this a while back, didn't I? He's better suited, I think, to a La Liga, so he can showcase his skills, enjoy the good weather, and be sung for his step overs, be sung for his cutting in and putting it top corner. Premier League, there just demands a lot more, I feel, from these players.
There is I think the thing that Estêvão needs more than anything else is for Chelsea fans to not use him as a stick to beat Saka with. And
it's so weird. I don't know what that is.
And Foden with, and Yamal with, and you just don't need to put him in those conversations because it adds pressure. it adds a pressure that he doesn't need. And we know these young and see social media, especially these 18, 19-year-old plus players, that they're on it. They've lived it. They've grown up with social. They're not like our generation when we were young, like the guys that are our age and a bit older, where social media became a thing when they were playing football. But like, I know we do it as a job, two of us on here, and David's getting into it now. But I'm still someone that once I turn my phone off, the internet's not real. I'm still of that mindset. It's like, all right, people are having a go at me for a football opinion. I close my phone.
It's done.
My life
it's
finished. Done, right?
Yeah.
Younger players aren't like that. They grew up with social media as part of their lives. It's everything to them. And I think the part of it is nice, I think, when you, look, they think I'm this good, but it adds a pressure. And again, it could just be, there may be no correlation and causation, but the second the clear of Saka on Estêvão's level, one of the best wingers in the world already, as soon as that conversation started, subbed off at halftime twice and flopped.
Maybe
I
think
no
because Maresca is trying to manage him. Maresca is trying to manage him, and he's fully aware of all this pressure that's being put on him. And he knows you saw it against Arsenal. He skied a few chances, but he did well to get into that position, right? He looked good. But straight away, it's like, all this Estêvão talk, I just see him hoof it into the, row Z, and it's just like...
I'm not going... I didn't go in on him, because I'm not going to go in on an 18-year-old like that for missing things. The problem is that when you use him as a stick to beat other people's players with, lots of fans from those clubs will go after him. So you've got to be... And I know that people say a lot of things because they want to get clipped up, they want to go viral, they want their TikTok scene, and I get it. But are you doing it for the betterment of your club, or are you doing it for the betterment of you? So I don't think it helps young players doing that to them personally. Saying he's better than Yamal, who was one of the key pivotal figures at 16 in winning a major international tournament for his country, a young lad who was pivotal in Barcelona winning a league title. To say he's already on that level is ridiculous. That's like a midfielder being 18 and scoring quite a few goals, scoring 5 goals in his first 6 games and going, already better than Lampard at scoring goals. It's stupid. It's a flashpoint. There's a long way to go. He ain't better than him. It's like an 18-year-old defender having 3 brilliant games at centre back. It's like, when Aiden Heaven broke into the first team and he looked really good. Imagine turning around again, already better than John Terry. It wouldn't make sense.
It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. But it's happened before. We had Rashford and Mbappe. Remember that? It was.
No, we did, and I was involved in those conversations. That's why I know don't fucking do it. Like, I'm talking from experience. But I'll give you City fans for an example. Barely anybody has hyped up O'Reilly. They've said how good he is, but it isn't the new Ashley Cole. He's not the new Patrice Evra. He's not. It's just, he's O'Reilly. He's young. He's good. Watch him and look at his growth. He's not being used as a tool to attack anybody with, and I think it's the right way to go. The problem is, for a lot of content creators, it eats into their profit margins. And as much as that sounds harsh, I'm talking TikTokers, not YouTubers. YouTubers don't really do it. It's the TikTok people. The ones who like fake crying shit like that. Like, it's weird over there on TikTok. I have a TikTok account, but I'm not a TikToker. TikTokers are fucking weird creatures, I tell you. No, they are. They're proper weird. They're proper weird over there.
I've got one too, but I don't really digest football content on TikTok, really, to be honest. But so I don't really know.
No, there's a lot of weird ones over there.
I mean, before you move on, though, don't you think Estêvão in La Liga would have a much better environment to perform? Or you don't agree with that?
I don't know.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's got a great platform to play at Chelsea. And if it was me, if I was Maresca, I'd play him week in, week out, and just accept sometimes he's going to be inconsistent, because I think that's how you get him to speed quicker. But you've got to accept that he is going to be inconsistent because he's younger than that. But no, I think he's a top player, man. I honestly, bro, if like Chelsea just bought 3 or 4 top class players, not even like, I'm not talking like Harry Kane's, just like proven top players, they would be a serious team, because they've got some good players, man.
The reason I asked the question, if Yamal was growing up in the Premier League, do you think he would have achieved the level of...
No, he wouldn't, because in the Premier League, for some reason, managers are more reluctant to play players younger.
That's why I asked the question. I feel like Estêvão, I see the reasoning why people are talking about him in that bracket, but I just feel like if Yamal was in Estevão's shoes, would he be spoken about the same way? Would he have the same environment that he has in La Liga, at Barcelona, in Spain? to do that. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's very difficult.
Well, he probably
Very
wouldn't.
difficult.
He probably wouldn't have played that early because, like I say, the Premier League for some reason there's a real reluctance. I think Michael Owen even spoke about this recently on a podcast he did. He was like, in Germany, in Spain, like the players get into first team at like 17, 18-year-old. I mean, have you seen the Barcelona team? Go for the Barcelona team, bro. Like about 7 of the players are under the age of like 23. In Spain and Germany, there is a real sort of like there's not a reluctance to play players when they're young.
Do you know what I think I put that
they're
down
not.
to? Sorry, Terry, I know you were going to jump in there. I think it's the competitiveness of the league.
I think it's also money. I think that La Liga hasn't got the money it used to have anymore. So there is now a push to use your kids because they can't compete financially with the Premier League teams anymore. At the same
they have
time,
to create talent. Yeah.
It isn't as good in La Liga anymore. I mean, look at Anthony's doing over there compared to the Premier League as an example. Look how the English teams have handled the majority of the Spanish teams in the last year or two in Europe. That was never the case. Spanish teams always had our number, but it seems last year Man United was 16th and 17th in the league, 15th in the league, and we bashed 2 decent La Liga teams up.
Yes, so true. Yeah.
City tomorrow. City, I know they've got injuries, but City are going to go to the Bernabeu and win tomorrow night, and I'm very confident they're going to go and do that. They're not that good.
Yeah, they're not in a great place at the moment.
Watched them
It's
a lot
still
this
Real
year
Madrid,
at Real
right?
Madrid, and they've not been great, man. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a reluctance in the Premier League to play players younger. I don't know why.
I do get that. I do get it. It's. I like the idea of youngsters being played. As a United fan, you know the fact Shea Lacey didn't come on last night when we're 3-1 up, 4-1 up. You give him 10 minutes. That's where the youngsters get given a chance. There's no pressure. When we went 3-1 up with 15 minutes to go plus 10 minutes of stoppage time, he'd got 25 minutes. Yeah. And you go, right.
I don't know if you read that stat. That stat that Staffy sent in to the group chat, I think it was a week or so ago. It had a list of all the managers at Man United post-Ferguson. And Amorim's had 51 games at that point. And 18 of those 51 games, he didn't have a graduate from the academy in the lineup. No other manager was anywhere near. Most of them were on 0, meaning they always fielded an academy graduate. And I think Ten Hag was just 2 games where he didn't field an academy graduate. So Amorim's kind of going away from that tradition, whether that be right or wrong. But that's why Lacey's not coming on. Amorim's 18 games of his 51, he's not had an academy graduate on.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Speaking of not liking things, LB, what was your thoughts on Mohamed Salah's interview?
Yeah, well, I've just seen Carragher's just tweeted as well again. He's quote tweeted the Salah gym picture and put, "I'm not sure I've wanted Liverpool to win a game more than tonight for a long time." So yeah, he's really going in, man. He's not going to give a fuck. It's obviously a bit of a complex one, but I don't think Salah was correct to say that in public. I think it's quite ironic because he's saying he's been thrown under the bus. Yet I think he's thrown the manager under the bus. I think he's thrown his fellow players under the bus. I think he's thrown the press officer who stood next to him under the bus. I think he's thrown a lot of the fans under the bus because he's now created this toxic environment between the Liverpool fans. Now, does that mean he is incorrect in what he's saying? No, but he knows what he's doing there when he's saying what he's saying, and he's obviously he's an adult. He knows what's going to happen, and I think what he's done is wrong, and I think the club and the manager have to take a stand against that. You can't allow players to do that and say that because it creates a really, really bad environment. Now, does that mean that Slot should keep his job? No, that's an entirely different situation. That's an entirely different situation. That's up to the club on whether they feel he's meeting the objectives. But you can't allow a player to come out and do that. You just can't. So I think it's wrong what he did. And I don't see... I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I don't see how you can come back from that. So I think he goes. I think he probably ends up going Saudi in January.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that I've said it all along. He's wrong to have called him out that way. I did think Jamie Carragher went in too far last night, though. I think bringing up his Chelsea career, mentioning what's happened at AFCON. This is the same man, by the way, that said AFCON weren't even made a trophy a year or so ago. Now using it as a stick to beat him with. There's another article that got put out that Jamie Carragher also retweeted, in the headline from Adam Bate was Mo Salah's defense is a defensive liability, and his output no longer justifies Liverpool carrying him. Lots of numbers here that show that clearly. And what I find really interesting about the likes of Jamie pushing that narrative is for years they said Salah carries Liverpool. Now that Salah's done this, suddenly it's actually we've carried Salah this whole time because of his numbers. We've picked up the slack for Salah. The defenders, the midfielders have picked up the slack for Salah. And the bit I'm uncomfortable with is I've never really heard this said before about a great player. I don't remember people talking about Ashley Cole being thrown under the bus by Thierry Henry. I don't remember people saying Gary Neville was thrown under the bus by Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't remember people saying that Ian Robben was throwing Philip Lahm under the bus. I don't remember anybody saying Kyle Walker was being thrown under the bus for Mahrez. Players who were not renowned for their tracking back and the defensive elements of what they did. It feels for me like an absolute cheap shot. And the one thing this is going to do, and Liverpool fans won't like it, you're all going to love him still when the dust settles. But a lot of these quotes and a lot of these articles, when it comes to the conversation and the debate around Premier League GOATs, legendary status, the fact now that you've got legends like Jamie Carragher backing the idea, and I've screenshot it and it's saved onto an external hard drive, that the club has carried Salah all these years and not the other way around. It's for me, from a legacy perspective, it's an absolute mess. I think Jamie Carragher doesn't like him. No. I think he has a personal problem with him. I think some of that it has to do with the legendary status of the legends that came before Mo Salah, the Carraghers, the Gerrards, etc. And I think he's allowed his personal feelings to take over. That all being said, Mo Salah should never have done what he did. There is no defending what he did, but that don't mean you stoop to that level and then fight back with attacking his personal career. For me, talking about him throwing Trent under the bus for 8 years, digging out his international career, which I think is ironic for Jamie Carragher to do. And then he got caught out, and Sky have removed this clip. Have you guys seen what Sky have removed? So they've reposted.
When he said that, he's talking about he's lost his legs. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So basically, on all the other than there's a video still out there of the full length conversation, but on all the clips they're putting out, they're now cutting it out. And this was the moment for me. This is how I felt that it was personal, and over the top was this little bit.
Mo Salah said it himself, didn't he? After the game, he said, "Oh, Jamie Carragher will go for me again and again." Have I ever criticised Mo Salah on the pitch? Well, a couple of weeks ago, you said his legs had gone.
No. That's so good. When he says it as well, he goes like this, like, "No, I haven't." Like, say no, and he just jumps in. I just don't think he needed to do it. I think it started off perfectly. He was a disgrace, wrong of what he did. He should be helping the team get back on its feet. Should be helping his manager. Jamie also said, well, I would love to get your opinion on this, boys, that Jamie thinks that Salah on Saturday tried to get Slot sacked. I think there's some truth in that. Yeah.
What else is he trying to do?
Yeah.
What is he trying to do? You got to ask yourself a question. What is he trying to do? Literally, the guy's been benched for 3 matches. He's not been benched for over a month or 2 months. He's been benched for 3 games, and in one of those games, he come off the bench for 45 minutes. So it's not like the guy's been frozen out. It's not like he's been left at home. Yeah, obviously he has now because of what he said. But in those 3 games, he was on the bench. And by the way, the manager had to do something. The manager had lost 5 out of 6 Premier League games, and he's conceded 3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals. He's conceding goals left, right, and centre. He'd lost 5 out of 6. He has to do something. And actually, since he dropped, they're unbeaten in 3. Now, they've only won 1 of them, but the form has turned around, believe it or not. Like, they've not lost a game.
That hasn't helped Salah's feelings, though, has it? Looking at that, seeing that the team has improved in results, potentially not performances, but in results. That's what's also triggered Salah thinking, "Oh my God, it's all my fault." Maybe deep down, Salah feels that way.
Triggered by his team doing better.
No, triggered by the fact that he feels like he's the reason he's the reason, or the club, the fans, the manager feels like he is the reason for the bad results, when I don't necessarily think he
Well,
is.
has the manager ever come out and said Mohamed Salah is the reason for our bad results?
No, of course he hasn't, LB. But I said this yesterday. When you drop players like Messi, like Cristiano Ronaldo, these players, I said it to Terry. He couldn't quite understand what I meant by it, but you're asking them to clean the toilets. That's how they feel. I swear I mean, I'm not them, but I've seen it with Ronaldo, with Portugal, the manager, the only manager to win us a major trophy, Fernando Santos, the minute he dropped Ronaldo in the World Cup, sacked. Ronaldo went and spoke to the federation and said, get rid of this fella, These players, these special players, and Salah is Liverpool's Messi and Ronaldo. He is, right? And dropping him for 3 games is it's mind-boggling for him. He'll lose his hair again if this continues.
He might be a little frustrated about it, but surely he understands that the manager has to do something, and that's what he decided to do, and the manager's entitled to make that decision. He's the manager. No player has an automatic God-gifted right to play week in, week out. And again, he's been dropped for 3 games. It's not like he's been dropped for fucking matches. 3 matches. 3 Prem games.
I agree. But listen,
Leeds, again, it's not even like he's been dropped against Arsenal or City or Chelsea, like big, high-profile games. He's been dropped against average teams, with respects. Maybe not Sunderland, they're a decent side. But, and he's come off the bench in one of them. And fundamentally, the results have improved.
Yeah, but we have to look at the manager as well here, LB.
I said that. But that's a separate argument, though, isn't it?
But in any line of work, the point I'm making is, if let's say you've got a manager and then you've got a manager above that manager, let's say you as a worker skip that manager and go to that above manager to make a complaint. That's effectively what Salah's done, right? He's literally gone to the press, That manager in between that staff member and the manager that's in the centre.
Okay.
The manager above him is going to look at him and say, why is your staff member coming to me instead of you?
But you're right. But let's break this down. So I've been in this exact scenario.
Cool.
Exact scenario. So for me, let's just say I'm the area manager, LB's the manager, and you're the member of staff, David.
That's it. Yeah.
If you come to me to say LB, blah blah blah, he's a bastard, blah blah blah, won't do this.
He's not
blah,
played
blah,
me for
blah,
3
blah.
games.
Yeah.
He's not played me for 3 games. Yeah.
The one thing I'm never going to do is disrespect LB to you or in front of anybody publicly, because I need the position that he holds to remain strong. If he's done something wrong, he will be disciplined separately to a point that you won't even know about it unless it's an official grievance, right? But even then, the outcome of an official grievance is not public. If you went around the staff room going, guys, I went to the area manager, filed a grievance about LB, it went for a tribunal and I won, and LB got a written warning, you would lose your job for divulging private and confidential information.
Totally.
So for me, it's this case of there are processes for that to go through, but you still have to be professional and by the book. Because for a company, the reason that they're so hot on that is that position of manager, whether LB stays in his role or somebody else comes in, has to maintain its power. If the staff get to know all his business and go, as soon as we put a complaint in, we'll win. Oh, he's this, he's weak. I don't need to listen anymore. You weaken that position, and the whole company, if you know, or the whole department can start to suffer.
The question I'm asking you though, Terry, is you're the area manager. Wouldn't it cross your mind that part of LB's job is man management? Part of LB's job is
but that would be part of the process now. So part of what the investigation would be is, has LB done anything wrong? Now, if it turns out LB's done nothing wrong, all he has done is punish you for being late 3 days running, or has disciplined you because you didn't hit targets 3 weeks running. If you're just running to me and going over his head because you're being a snoveling, spoilt little brat, the person who's going to lose their job is you. And I'm fully backing my man. One, it's the right thing to do. And 2, it maintains the power hierarchy that's needed in any family, in any business, in any school. And you must maintain that for success. Pepper's dropped loads of play. I say this a lot, LB, about City. Like, you'll have a period where like John Stones is the main man, playing DM, playing centre back, and then suddenly you look at the team the next season or 3 months later, and he's barely starting games. And Pep just does what he thinks is right, and 9 times out of 10 he wins. But the one thing that Pep has authority to do is treat that team out however he wants, to within reason. If those City players try going above his head, You know as well as I know,
Yeah.
LB. They'd be for the high jump straight away at Man United. Do you think any of these stars? Because they didn't. We had Yap Stam, we had Rude, we had David Beckham. Right.
Yeah.
All of these guys tried to step out of line.
Even Roy Keane.
Publicly. Roy
Even
Keane,
Roy Keane,
they all
to an
tried doing it publicly, and Fergie went no. Roy Keane always calls Fergie out for not being loyal. And I think this is why Roy Keane was a world-class player. Why I think he's a brilliant pundit at times. Sometimes I think he's wrong, but I think he's a brilliant pundit. But why I think he was an awful manager. He couldn't understand that Fergie's job wasn't to be loyal to his players as the first point of call. His job was to be loyal to Man United. And when you start doing things that undermine the club, that damage the club, you have to go. And the one thing I would say about Mo Salah's actions here, if those players have got anything about them, they should be galvanized by this and come together for their manager. If they don't and they get worse from this point, that tells you.
And you know that's not going to happen because Salah's been there for time. So who do you think Virgil van Dijk's backing?
Yes, this is the point.
You think Virgil van Dijk's backing Slot?
How do you know Salah's not speaking for a few players there? You know what I mean?
Bro, Van Dijk ain't backing Slot. No way. He's backing Salah, bro. Alisson, who do you reckon he's backing? Bro, these guys have played together for like 7-8 years. You reckon they're probably looking at Slot thinking, this guy's getting a sack next week. I ain't backing him. I'm backing Salah. So this is the problem that Slot's got. And I guess this is a separate situation, but this probably shows a little bit of naivety from Slot in dropping Salah because, by the way, I personally wouldn't have dropped Salah. Yeah, I've been a big backer of Salah all season and said I don't think he should get dropped. Yeah, and he's probably shown a little bit of naivety. Now that doesn't mean Salah was right to do what he done. But listen, I just think that the whole situation is hilarious, and it's probably the worst title defense we've ever seen. I'd even say it's worse than Leicester's because Leicester didn't spend 400 million quid, and it's as a rival. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? It's absolutely funny. But you know what? I do feel a little bit sorry for the fans because the fans have been put in a really awkward situation here. And it was we had a situation when we had Tevez and Mancini here. And do you know what I mean? Both people, you know, we really loved at City. You know what I mean? We just won the FA Cup and that. Pretty sure, it was that season that happened. And it was awkward because it's sort of like the thing is we were a little bit more unanimous in that, like, yo, Tevez, you were wrong here. You know what I mean? Like, but like, you know, the Liverpool fans, they've just been put in this awkward situation. But I think Salah's gone, man.
Tevez is not Salah, right? But even though he was a great player for you guys, but I don't know if you've seen it. Sky Sports have come out and done a whole piece backing Jamie Carragher's point on the fact that he's put the right back under the bus. They've done a whole stats and statistics how Salah's like 120th in the league or something for tracking back.
Yeah, but wait a sec. That don't. Yeah, but hang on a minute. Yeah, because
I'm just saying, Sky Sports have backed it, right? They've backed.
Yeah, but I think that's stupid from Sky and Carragher because
I don't know
for
if you've seen it.
No, but I don't need to see it because it's stupid. Because, like, yes, he doesn't track back, but he gets you 35 goals a season.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, but they've doubled down.
You could have had him tracking back, but he might not have had you getting 35 goals a season. And they've won lots of trophies, and they won the Premier League last year based off his goals. So
they also,
you know what happens in times like this, David, when shit like this happens? People do too much.
Yeah.
People do too much. Rather than just saying, yo, Salah, I understand you might be a little angry, but what you did was not right. It was disrespectful to the club. It was disrespectful to the manager who you should respect, and it's disrespectful to the fans, End of story. People start going, you know, Salah should actually realise that he's not had to do this and he's not had to do that and he's got paid. Yeah, he gets paid because it's his job, mate. That's his job. It's got nothing to do with it. Whether he gets paid 100 grand a week or 400 grand a week, whether he had to track back or not track back, that's all irrelevant. It's irrelevant. All that should have been said was Salah shouldn't have said it. He's disrespected the club. He's disrespected the manager, and he's put the fans in a toxic situation. That's it. But they have to,
They've
they have
even-
to try and do too much.
They do. I mean, there's a comment here that says that he was Fergie. This is Arne Slot. See, this is what I mean by it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter who Fergie was or Arne Slot is. You protect the position of manager. And I may sound a little bit like a dictator when I talk about this, but there are certain times. I think I run a business now. I run multiple businesses now. There are times where you are very democratic. What do you guys think? You speak to the team. I hire people, typically as experts, to come in and show me how certain areas should be run. So I let them run those departments. But if they're doing a bad job, there comes a point where I have to be autocratic, where I have to go, I'm in charge and I'm making this decision, and bang, this is what's happening. And you can't allow those positions to be diluted as you end up where Man United are, in a position where players regularly down tools, regularly don't work hard, regularly think it's okay because people say things like this, but it ain't Fergie, it's Ten Hag. Why would I listen to him? Well, that shows me what you are as a person. Because even now as a 40-year-old man, if I went home and said, Dad, I didn't work hard this week. Why? Oh, my boss is a bit of a softie. My dad would give me a slap around the head at 40 years old. That's just how I am as a person. I think people that are backing Salah 100% on every facet of this, they're just typically, to me, people that really don't like. They probably had a dad that they hated because he was like disciplinarian. I find that they don't like authority. That's why I see it a lot of people. Their dad was too strict, wouldn't let them go out on a Friday night. Maybe they had a bad boss. Maybe they had a teacher they didn't like. Whatever it was, normally it's people that have a problem with authority. But if you don't listen to your boss, I think there's more of a problem with you. Well, again, within reason. If your job is to make burgers and your boss is asking you to scrub the toilet with your toothbrush or wash his car, I understand you're pushing back because that's outside of what you've been hired to do. But you've been hired to work 40 hours a week to cook burgers for that time. If he's pushing you hard to cook burgers in that time, fucking do your job. Stop moaning. Get on with it, for fuck's sake. You lazy bastards.
What did you think about Carragher using Egypt as an example that Salah's not been as important for Liverpool as we all know he is?
Again,
what did you think about that?
I just felt like it was not needed.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't necessary. All he had to say was Salah's a disgrace. He's a joke, whatever you want to say about him. Yeah. Salah shouldn't have done what he did. He's put the club in a toxic situation. The fans in a toxic situation. He's disrespected the club, disrespected the players. And that's a disgrace for what is considered a Salah, a Liverpool legend. And that would have been fine. When he starts talking about, Chelsea, Egypt, all that, it's just not needed. It's just not needed. And this is what I'm saying, like, in times like this, bro, people just do too much.
The crazy thing is James Maddison sitting there, an active player, listening to a pundit just completely try and ruin an active player. I just thought, what the hell's going on? And he's also looking at James Maddison, nodding at him for approval. Like, what's James Maddison supposed to do here, you know?
Yeah, that was a very awkward one for an active player to be involved with. I'm glad Maddison didn't talk, to be fair, because they're not colleagues at the same club, but they're both current pro footballers. And I think that, again, there's certain things you do and don't do. And I'm glad he didn't chime in. But
quick question to you guys, where do you think, if you had to predict, where does this go from here? Is it as simple as what LB just kind of suggested? Salah, come out, apologise, let's move on, let's crack on, let's muster together? Or is it a case of he does not play again for Liverpool and he's gone in January?
I don't think Liverpool should let him kick a ball again for Liverpool. Unless,
you think the latter?
I think he's gone. Unless he comes out. And you've got to do it the way he did it. You have to publicly apologise for doing.
That's what I mean. Do you think there's a possibility in that? Do you think there is a possibility in that where he comes out and says, "Look, I was emotional. No. I want what's best for the club. I'm sorry."
I think he's
if he does that, I think he fixes
33
it.
Years old. Yeah, he's 33 years old. Yeah, he signed a contract. He got the 400 grand a week. Yeah, they won the league last year. He stayed this year, and it's a shambles. He's sitting here now, right? He's probably getting offers from Saudi every day of the week, yeah? And he's probably sitting there now going, you know what? We ain't winning the league this year. We ain't going to win the Champions League this year, yeah? This manager don't even want to play me. Let me get out. Instead of just going, but the thing is, instead of just going to the club and going, you know what? He don't want to play me. I'm on 400 grand a week. There's no point in me being here if I'm on 400 grand a week and you're not playing me. Let me go Saudi in January and we'll just have it as that. He's obviously kicked off. You know what I'm saying?
There may also be an element of where he signed the new deal and then maybe regretted it and gone, oh, do you know what? sometimes we do that in life, don't you? You turn down a job, or you take a new job, or right down to I'll go out tonight, and you go out and you're like, oh, I wish I fucking stayed at home now. We all make decisions that we regret quite soon, even if we meant them at the time. And maybe you sign the deal. Obviously, you had the Jota situation in the summer. There's the changes as good as the rest sometimes, and there could be this element where he's just thinking, oh, I don't want to be here. So there's that, but I don't think he kicks a ball for them again. He's got one game left of AFCON. Well, there's this weekend, and then he's off to AFCON anyway. Yeah. So, and I think
when could AFCON take him to win? If let's say he goes to the final, wins it as an example.
Mid to late Jan.
Okay, so it's absolutely spot on for him to not even step foot again in Liverpool, right, after this weekend.
Perfect.
But my gosh. But will Slot allow him a farewell in front of the Liverpool fans?
He's basically asked for it, saying he's invited his mum next weekend. That's what he said. To whether he's playing or not. I mean, the more you look into this looks like it's premeditated by him, doesn't it? It does.
Yeah, see, for me, again, maybe if I was the boss and I'm in charge, I'm not giving him a farewell after disrespecting me like that. I'm saying I wouldn't give it to him. I'd say I'd just be like, I get what you're saying, but it's more complex than that, because Slot has still got to manage the club and have that relationship with the fans. And what happens? True.
Right,
yeah,
what
true.
Happens if Salah goes to Saudi, and then what happens if Salah says to Slot, right, let me just play some minutes on Saturday to say goodbye to the fans, and Slot says, no, I'm not doing that. You disrespected me, disrespected the club, which is entitled to do.
Which would be fair enough.
It would be entitled to do, but then he says no. Salah goes to Saudi, does an interview and said, listen, I know what I did was wrong, but I went to Slot, I pleaded with him. I said, I'm really sorry that this happened, but let me just play 5 minutes to say goodbye to the fans. And he said no. Then what's going to happen is all the fans are going to turn against Slot and go, how can you give it 5 minutes? And then all of a sudden, Slot's completely burned his relationship.
But I think
with fans.
What you just added in there is an important bit. If he goes to Slot and said, because you got to remember, it wasn't just Slot he spoke about. He said the club throwing him under the bus. The club don't want him. He said that he carried the team. Club. He said he carried the team to the title. So you've disrespected your teammates, as an example. If he comes and apologizes to Slot, to the team, privately for doing that, please let me have this game so I can say goodbye to the fans that I still love and respect, then I would probably, after the apology, go, okay. Because as you say, from the morality standpoint, you look like the bigger and better person, and that will give you a bit more credit in the bank with the fans. But if he just turns up and demands it, doesn't want to apologize for anything he said or done, this guy didn't just attack Slot. He attacked the whole club and his teammates. For me, that's not a good look. But I understand it. What you said, LB, it could definitely backfire on Slot. They've got to get this right. It's like politics,
it will
man.
Backfire. If I was Slot, I would give him some minutes. Whether I start him or bring him off the bet, I would, because then Salah can't say nothing bad when he's left. He can, but Slot can be the bigger man and say, listen, I give him.
At the same time, what do you think that reception would be? Would he get booed?
No,
I think he would, right? No, you don't think so?
No, he wouldn't get booed. He wouldn't get booed. No, because people can see that this is an internal battle between the manager and the player. Yeah, this is not Trent. Leaving on a free when he's from Liverpool and pissing off the fans. Like, this is and the thing is, he's coming to the end of his career at Liverpool anyway. Yeah, whether it's going to be this year or next year. So, no, I think he'd get a phenomenal reception. And I think it would probably be beneficial for Slot to do that. Just to sort of bury the hatchet, No,
that makes a lot of sense. Earlier on the show, LB, you were going to speak about Arsenal. Obviously, they had a step back at the weekend. They play Club Brugge tomorrow night to another chance to prove their Champions League prowess and power this week. But what you got to say about Arsenal after their defeat? It's a shame that Positive Dan's not here, as we said at the top, for the first time since they lost the game in the league this season. But what do you want to say about Arsenal, LB?
Yeah, I don't think obviously they were great in the match. They've got a few issues. I don't think it's as bad as like some people are making out. Right, Aston Villa are a good side, and we got beat there, and I think they're obviously third in the league, the best club in the country based off of current form. So it's not like, oh my god, it's a disaster. But that gap was 8 points a couple of weeks ago. It's now 2. And I said a couple of weeks ago, and it was just speculation at the time, but I do think it's worth bringing it up. Do you guys think there is a potential? I'm going to say potential. I'm not saying factual yet. Do you guys think there's a potential that Arsenal peaked too soon? Because
100%.
the way that people were speaking about Arsenal like a month ago or whatever was like, it was good. And I agree, they were phenomenal, but it was November. And it's February, March, April, May that matters the most. So maybe they'll get back to that and maybe they'll continue it. But you know, I don't know. I think there is potentially an element of have they sprinted off the line in a marathon and burnt out within the first couple of miles.
You say that, but the first 5 or 6 games, remember there was the narrative that Arteta was being conservative. Arteta was managing the games the best way he could to get the best results. Liverpool being one of them, right? He got a lot of stick for that, saying they were there for the taking. You should have gone for it. But then that all the dust settled and everyone was rating Arteta for just kind of managing it in a better way. And in the end, ending up in a great position. But then he changed it. Arsenal were going all out, you know, because their defense was so good, rightfully so. And I said this at the top of the show. You just would have thought with how great Arsenal have been, they would have built up a way bigger lead and a way bigger cushion to then go through maybe a rough little bit of form, but be still fine. Do you know what I mean? But that's not been the case. They've not built up the lead that we thought they could build. And we could look at fixtures. Someone suggested it to you, LB, that Arsenal's fixtures have been a lot tougher than Man City's. But you play who you play, right? It is what it is. That is something you can look at. I'm reiterating myself, but I really thought they would have had a bigger cushion with the start they've had.
I thought they would. I remember saying about 4 weeks ago, bro, I was looking at the Arsenal pictures and thinking they need to open up a bit of a gap here. Yeah. And, you know, they've not. The gap's closed. You know what I mean? They dropped points to Sunderland. They dropped points to a 10-man Chelsea for 60 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I think they should have. It's not a disaster. They're still top of the league here. They're still the best club in the country based off the table.
You speak about positive Dan. I watched his interview on AFTV. It's always great when he's on there. And he said that Declan Rice was looking around at the board to be subbed off, but it's not my chance to. I mean, I find that shocking. What do you mean he's looking at the substitution board to be subbed off? This is meant to be someone who's supposed to win the Ballon d'Or this year, or pipped to win the Ballon d'Or this year, and he's looking at the substitutes bench. Can you sub me off? I'm tired. It's not time to be tired, my friend.
Well, he probably is tired though. He probably is tired though, bro, because you know
of course he's tired, LB. Which is fair enough, but I mean, who isn't tired? What top midfielder that's in line to win the Ballon d'Or isn't tired and plays loads of minutes? Maybe.
Yeah, but wait a sec though. Are you seeing Declan Rice, like the defensive work that he's having to put in that team?
Totally,
how many times do you see him sliding in with a last ditch block in the last?
He's
couple
fantastic,
of games?
But that's why he's being spoken about, LB, because he's doing all those things.
But the manager also needs to look at him and go, he is crucial to my side. I can't afford for him to burn out. You know, you look at Saka now. Saka's not playing half as good as he was in, previous.
But this burnout. Yeah, I hear you, and he's got a reputation of that, or he's being accused of that, especially with players like Saka, right? But I mean, can you afford to rest Declan Rice? Maybe Bruges, maybe Wolves, maybe this is the bracket to do it.
You find a way. I mean, you find a way.
For me, the injuries are starting to catch up. Even the depth that they had, which I was struggling to admit, I was saying that it's there. Even that's being eaten into a little bit.
Listen, mate, I'm not being funny, but they bought Zubimendi who can play in the 6, yeah? They still got Eze. They still got Wanyeri. Where's he? Norgard. So there's no excuses.
Who was meant to be their Jorginho, right? Meant to be their new Jorginho.
No excuses, for this manager to be spamming out Declan Rice for 90 minutes, game after game after game after game. Because if he drops off either with an injury, or just drops off form-wise because he's knackered, that's on the manager. And that's what he did to Saka.
Yeah.
And this is why, when I brought it up last week and we were speaking about it, saying, why is this manager bringing on Saka at Preston last year? And, you know, the Arteta fans who defend this manager for no matter what he does will come up with some excuse as to why that was a good idea. It's not a good idea. You can say he makes mistakes, you know. You can't sit there and say, I am a massive Arteta fan, But bringing players on like that is a joke. Yeah, I looked at one the other last week when we was looking at the fixtures. They were playing someone away or whatever, yeah, and he subbed on Gabriel
Port Vale or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like, why does he do this? You know, you're literally risking players. You're not giving them a rest, yeah. And I think that is ultimately what might cost them.
But so would you say you blame this injury crisis? I've said my bit on that. It's hard to pinpoint anyone. I think you've got to pinpoint the club as a whole. Yeah. People have got to come together at the club and figure it out. And yes, Terry, I know a lot of these injuries are impact injuries. But LB, where are you at with it? Would you say, if you had to put a percentage on it, is Arteta 50% to blame for injuries? Where are you at with it, with Arteta and injuries and Arsenal?
I think he has a part to play. Like, look at Gabriel, yeah? Gabriel this season. And by the way, wasn't there a stat going around last year that Gabriel was the first player ever to play 38 Premier League matches for Arsenal Football Club in a season? Or was it Saliba? It might have been Saliba, right? But Gabriel this year, yeah, he started every single Premier League game, not subbed off in any of them. Started all 4 Champions League games. He come off the bench against Port Vale and he come off the bench against Brighton. Why? Why is he coming off again in the Carabao Cup against Port Vale? Right, people can be like, "Oh, well, it's got nothing to do with it." Well, he got the hamstring injury 2 weeks after the Brighton game. So how do you know? Why not leave him at home? Why not leave him at home and say, "You know what? This Carabao Cup, yeah, like I don't need you here tonight. I've got Hincapié, I've got Mosquera, I've got an academy player. Why is he bringing him off the bench? Why not just give him a full rest?" Listen, no one can say with a hand on the heart, Arteta is factually to blame because nobody knows. Yeah. However, at the same time, I think it's perfectly reasonable to look at that and go, why is Gabriel played in every single game of the season? Yeah. Why?
Do you not think Arteta's nervous? Like, I know that's such a plain word there, but don't you think he knows that this year is a pivotal year and he doesn't want to take any risk with resting any of his top players? He is desperate to win. You know he's desperate to win, and so are the fans, right? The fans are desperate.
Wait a sec, right? Why would that mean that you're going to spam out some of your best players in every single game?
Because you're worried that your second team, your squad is not as good as
you're worried against Port Vale. You're worried against Port Vale.
It's valid.
Are you worried against Brighton 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go in the Carabao Cup?
The point I'm asking is, would you have taken Declan Rice off at Aston Villa? That's where we got onto this, right?
No, I wouldn't have.
He's turning around looking at the board to come off against Aston Villa. I mean, this isn't Port Vale.
Was he looking at who was coming off, or was he asking to come off? There's a difference,
right? He's played in every single game of the season. He's not had a single rest. And by the way, he gets spammed out for England as well. He come off the bench against Port Vale. He come off the bench against Brighton. He played in all 5 Champions League games. Why is he playing 81 minutes against Slavia Praha? Why is he when they were 4-1 up against Spurs, why is he not coming off for the last 10 minutes? He's played in every single match.
Would you expect him to be rested against Bruges? Yeah, he's not playing against Bruges.
I'd rest him against Bruges. I'd rest him against Wolves. I'd give him a break.
And if he doesn't do that, you think like the blame of these injuries will go even more towards
if Declan Rice gets injured, with a non-impact injury, so like a muscle injury. You can't not look at the manager when he's played in every single match of the season.
How does that compare to, just a genuine question, how does that compare to the main midfielders at City's, at Chelsea's, at the other top clubs in Europe? Like
this is kind of what I was asking.
Because when I looked at Ash put like a great graph, I was just looking for it there, couldn't find it, into the group chat because he wanted to come on and have a go at Arteta and Arsenal for the injuries. But it turns out all season they've only had 1 more injury than City and Newcastle and 2 more than Chelsea. So I sort of looked at it and thought, well, that's just the amount of players that have been injured. So when you start weighing it up, I think Arsenal had 25 injuries. I think City and Newcastle on that list have had 24, and Chelsea's came in at like 23. And all the teams in the top 6 are all Champions League and European sides. And I just think it's just sometimes a bit of bad luck. That being said, I do think Declan Rice needs a rest. I do agree with that point there. Yeah.
So for example, Haaland is like Declan Rice is one of their most important players. Erling Haaland, one of our most important players. Yeah. Pep didn't even take Haaland to our Carabao Cup games. When we played Huddersfield and Swansea, the guy didn't even take him. He wasn't even in the matchday squad. He just said to him, you stay at home, bro. Yeah, you go do your thing. Get a sauna, relax, recover. You're not even coming to the game. Yeah, Leverkusen, he rested him there, didn't start him there. He started him on the Premier League games, but I'd start Declan Rice on the Premier League games. It's these Carabao Cup matches, some of these Champions League games where Arsenal have enough that he shouldn't even be. He shouldn't have even been in the matchday squad for the Carabao Cup games, let alone play.
Yeah, I mean, is this what's going to cost him? Is this what's going to cost him?
Well, Declan Rice did look knackered against Villa because he's played in every single game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, injuries could cost them. Of course they can, because injuries do hurt teams. We've seen that with City last year when Rodri went out. We've seen it with Chelsea.
Just quickly. Sorry, Terry. Yeah, pull that comment up, please. George in the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. That is an absolutely ridiculous comment. Saka said he wanted to come on against Preston. Arteta confirmed it after the game. So what? Saka picks when he plays and not. Arteta's the manager. Arteta's the manager. Arteta should be saying to Saka, no, you're not coming on against Preston. I'm not risking you against Preston. You could break your leg against Preston when we're 3-0 up. Why would I bring you on? Nah, you just be a player. You're not picking the team. I'm the manager. I'll pick the team. What you want about? What stupid comment that is? Stupid comment, man.
Yeah, look, I think Rice and the like should have been rested for a few more games. Like tomorrow night's an interesting one. Show your squad strength off in that game. Maybe he feels because the main centre-backs are out, he then doesn't want to do what Maresca did. When Maresca has Caicedo out and he has to rest Reece James because he can't play 2 games a week. And then he also rests 2 or 3 other first-team players. They lose 3-1 to Leeds. Maybe there's a little bit of that going on in his mind that, would Rice have been rested for some games if Gabriel and Saliba were both fit still? Maybe not. But I do think the injuries could play a part. In terms of them peaking too early, I don't actually think Arsenal have had some brilliant games this season, but I still think there's still been areas for them to go up. I still don't think we've seen the best of Gyökeres as an example. I think Saka's been good and can get better. I think there are areas still for them to improve. In terms of the points gap, I mean, it's a weird league at the minute because it is now down to 2 points. But by the end of this weekend, it isn't inconceivable that Palace win and Arsenal win. And then it's back to 5 points. And then is the conversation Arsenal were clear again. And I've just said this the whole way through. Arsenal are not clear favourites. They're not running away with it. I don't also think there's any signs they're going to collapse. They haven't lost to anybody or dropped points to anybody this season that I think is embarrassing. That's when I would worry as an Arsenal fan. So Sunderland have been a brilliant team. They have been a brilliant team, especially at home this year. It's not embarrassing. Chelsea, the 10-man thing maybe, but 10 men should be hard to play against. Dropping points to City and Liverpool, these things happen. And there are criticisms within the game that I did. You all did it at that moment. If they go away to Everton and lose. If they play Brighton at home and drop points, that is when I'd start to be more worried as an Arsenal fan. I'd look at that and go, their games champions win. 9 times out of 10, champions win those types of games. That's what they've got to do. I think they've got to go now on like a 4-game winning streak, 4 or 5-game winning streak again, just to show it was a blip against Villa.
Who are their next 4 games, Terry?
They got Wolves. I know they got Wolves at home. I know that. And we just
I think you did this the other day, didn't you? On 6-sided.
Yeah, they've got Wolves, Everton, Palace. The Premier League only. Yeah, Wolves, Everton, Brighton, Villa. But the Brighton and Villa game are both at home. So yeah, I agree. I think they should
Villa again in the Premier League. I guess that's the turnaround to the second part. Yeah.
We have Wolves again at the end of December. Which is nice. So look, I look at it that way. For me, it's a case of I look at those 4 games where I don't think they've got any real problems at the moment. I still think they're the marginal favourites. Although City are looking good, I'm still not convinced by City 100% though. And what I mean by that is, I'm not looking at you going into that Palace game and going, they're definitely winning that City. Just because City haven't been a team to do that for 18 months now where they've beaten all those. And City have also dropped points to the same types of teams that Arsenal have dropped points to. So I don't look at it as anyone is clear. And someone might think City are the favourites. And that's a really fair opinion. But I don't think they're the clear favourites in the sense of it's going to take a miracle for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're in crisis. It's not a crisis. I mean, they're still top of the league. They got beat off Villa, who are the best team in the country on current form. So, I don't know about that. I just think it's like something to just keep your eye on. Luckily, though, they've got. I think you're right. I think they should be winning those next 4 matches.
Yeah. But like you say, LB, it was 8 points, did you say? And now it's down to 2.
It was 8 points at one point. Yeah.
When was the last time the gap grew? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? So, like Terry just said, it's due for that to happen now. Arsenal need to kick on and grow that gap again, even if it is to 5 points for a little bit to get that cushion. But it's been a while since that gap grew, and everyone's aware of it, you know.
But that's also why fixtures are important to look at. It's not a defense.
Yeah, true.
But again, if you look at their last 3 away games, it's been away at one of the best promoted teams in Sunderland, away at Chelsea, whose form was good at the time, and then away at the best team in the league. If in these last 3 games, Villa are away to those teams, and Arsenal played the sides that City have, there might have been a bigger gap created, and that's why I'm just looking at the individual games. I'm giving City their praise, as I did earlier. I'm giving Arsenal their criticism. The next 4 or 5, I don't know who does City play in the next few games. Genuinely, I don't know.
We've got Palace away. Let me have a look. Fixtures. Yeah, we got Palace away. We've got Brentford. Sorry, that's Cup. West Ham at home.
Easy.
Forest away. Sunderland away.
See again, I look at that. And I look at that, and I'm thinking that at least 3 wins in that period. Absolutely.
I'm looking at my next 7 games. Yeah, so we've got Palace away, West Ham at home, Forest away, Sunderland away, Chelsea at home, Brighton at home, United away. But I'm looking for serious points here. But
this is where it becomes interesting, because after that Sunderland game, it's Chelsea at home, Brighton at home, United away. You then got Wolves, but then you're away at Tottenham and away at Liverpool. So I look at those games there, and there's 2 or 3 in there that could be sticky for you. And this is why I've said all season, I don't think anyone's going on 8, 9, 10 game winning streaks. Nobody, not one single team, including Arsenal. I think it's going to be close. I've said I think the title race will go down to the wire. There was a couple of weeks ago, I did say when Arsenal were playing, if they'd have beaten Chelsea and Villa, my mind probably would be a little different now, because the gap would be 5, 6, 7 points and whatnot, but they didn't. It's going to be really, really close. And I want a close title race, to be honest with you. I want it to be really close. I think it's more fun for the conversation, but there's loads of games where Arsenal, and there's loads more games left where I think City are going to drop points. And I want more of it. I don't necessarily call it bottling, but listen, Arsenal are going to get called bottlers irrespective of what they do, because that's the nature of the beast. This year says if you look at Arsenal's fixtures, they shouldn't drop points in more than 3 or 4 games until they play City away, as favourable as the Premier League schedule gets. When is that game against City away?
Oh, that's like April. That's like April, bro.
Excuse me. Yeah, I can't see Arsenal going practically unbeaten until April, personally. That being said, how long were they unbeaten? They were 3 months unbeaten this time around. So maybe they could. Maybe they go 2 or 3 months again unbeaten. But draws cost you in league title races too.
Yeah, they do.
Terry says that in the past, and it seems to have come into fruition about Liverpool fans with Salah, because they big him up as the guy, but now they are saying he is not, and he is not bigger than Slippy G. Yeah, look, when it comes to legacy, I've said it for years. Liverpool fans didn't big him up early enough. He could have already been crowned the GOAT of the Premier League. It's all about PR. The ridiculous standards placed on Arsenal just because we want to banter Arsenal. Why couldn't the great chasers build up even a 2-point lead?
Well, what have we even said? I don't think we've cooked Arsenal, have we? I just told everyone to chill out. Arsenal is still good and still 2 points clear. What standards are you talking about here, bro? What standard? I don't really understand what standards. Do you know what he's talking about?
No, I don't get it, my friend. Let us
maybe
know.
He's talking about someone in the chat. Maybe someone in the chat was like,
maybe, yeah. We haven't peaked. We're just injuries slowing progress, is what Guna Gallery says here. Well, Saliba's back fit now. I read today on the BBC. So Saliba's going to be coming back. Obviously, Gyökeres is back now in the team. It isn't far for Kai Havertz.
Saliba. Is Gyökeres even I think at some point you got to have a serious conversation about Gyökeres, bro, because for me, I think Marino's been better as a striker. What I've seen so far. I mean, this guy was brought in to score goals, Terry. Yeah, that was his job, innit? Yeah, that's what they all said. We need a striker to score goals. He's only scored in 3 Premier League games. He's played in 13.
Yeah, I thought he had done a lot better than he has done. I know he's had the injury at that point, and he was looking, I mean, it's ironic, he was looking very good in the game he got injured in when he was playing against Burnley. But he has got to start to improve that, because every game that goes by where he's not scoring, that pressure is going to build and build and build and build and build. And he does need to start adding goals. I agree.
When's Havertz back?
End of December, I think.
I think if he doesn't start scoring soon, I reckon he'll get dropped for either Havertz or he might stick Marino up there.
By the way, reactions to the World Cup draw. I didn't watch it. I know England have got Ghana. That's all I know we've got. I haven't even looked. Panama we got as well, and somebody else.
Yeah, Panama, Croatia in it.
Croatia. We'll get out of that group. I'm not worried about that. No disrespect to any of those countries, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. LB, mate, always a pleasure to sit and speak football with you. I want to thank our viewers, super chatters, and everyone who's liked and shared. I'm not sure what happened to David. Maybe his phone ran out of battery. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is going to redirect you to Judge Mo's channel, so go and support my brother over there. We're back tonight after the Champions League games. I'm off the bed because I've got this horrible cold that I want to try and sleep off. But until next time, take care, look after yourselves, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.